Hey everybody, it's Fitness103 here today with the second last game I ever played on my Z23 for finally getting through it, basically. Z23, what can I say? I actually think it was an alright ship to play, even though I originally expected to not actually like it. It's kind of interesting. I mean, it's not super fast, it's got short firing range because, 15cm guns in this case, and it is an AFD captain, but I probably should respect that later on, since I now took my 19-point Gneisenau captain, spec'd it into full AA, and pushed it towards Z52. So yeah, I'm also going to be doing full retard Z52 specs, although it's pretty much a Teotihuacan that also has Hydro and 2 sets of torpedo launchers, 2x4s, and they do potato for damage, but at least they reload rather fast. Regardless, I'm heading towards the middle of the map. I am, after all, in a Z52 and Z23 even, and it's a match with no opposing radars and with top tier, so that could definitely be quite nice. I'm going to make a bit of a strategic deployment mistake coming up very shortly. Actually, we'll see it, but this match was played like fucking really late at night, and I was like, okay, this is my first win. I want a good game, and well, I kind of end up with one. Although I made life harder on me than I probably could have, but then again I would have gotten less XP for doing that. We probably still would have lost, because, team. But at least the team's not going towards A, so I'll give it that at least. Anyways, moving towards the middle, I do spot quite a few targets of importance to note. Cleveland's can be rather annoying. The Tirpitz is a top-tier battleship. Do spot the Hipper as well as the Gneisenau behind it, so we basically spotted a significant force heading in. Now, spotting the Gneisenau means that the Fiji's probably heading that way as well, because they're in a division after all, they are in fact in the same clan. So that's basically 5 ships that I am confident I know are going that way. But I don't know where the destroyers are yet, so I am obviously going to be a little bit more passive in the middle because I don't want to get cracked on by all of that. That could be rather nasty for my survivability. In the meantime, we have a reasonable destroyer split, mostly heading north, because our fleet is heading in that direction. We have a New Mexico and a Scharnhorst seemingly heading towards the southern area, towards A, but that New Mexico shouldn't. And, the rest of the team, well, there he goes Charlie, and if they can push, well, Charlie area, if they can push through it, that'd be really nice. Anyways, we do spot the enemy Minsk at this point, which is quite nice. The enemy's got a pretty reasonably well-balanced split. At this point, I'm considering heading over there and killing off this Minsk. Well, at least trying to kill off the, this destroyer. But then I spot the Loyang there, and I think, alright, well, I can be a bit greedy here, right? We've got half the teams, already up there, more than half the team. They're somehow spotted with a Minsk behind their lines. These guys are gonna die, right? Like, the Akatsuki's chasing the Minsk, although the smokescreen might be covering that. So I'm going to go be a little bit greedy, knowing that I'm not going to get to destroy the court, because, they only have 2, and they're both spotted. And they're both spotted in position where they kind of are going to have difficulty engaging anything. Well, yeah, they're also going to have a little bit of difficulty getting out of that engagement, but if they show up in my face, I'm going to have massive trouble, because Loyang 5.5 Hydro is going to be quite a pain to deal with. And, well, there's a lot, basically the entire enemy team's here. Now, our Minsk gets Myoko torped, which, in my opinion, is absolutely stupid. However, how he managed to do that, I don't even want to know. But I'm trying to line up this Tirpitz. I'm figuring that, we do have, New Mexico, Scharnhorst, North Carolina potentially in a position to shoot this Tirpitz, so I figured he's probably going to pull towards his right side, and he seems to be doing that right now, as this idiot in the Scharnhorst is trying to team kill me. But considering, the state of the game and the fact that this is my first win, I'm not just going to make this guy pink. I could easily have done it, but pointless. The Tirpitz, instead of turning that way, decides to continue firing his guns on the Scharnhorst, decides to do an interesting bow on turn. He's not under much pressure, so I guess that's just, smart, smart and smart. It didn't take torpedoes, so it worked out for him, but he is costing himself firepower at this point, and, well, the enemy team is making better advances than our team, because we have less stuff down here, so they're obviously going to be more confident in advancing. But hey, you know, at least that 23 torpedoes reload reasonably fast, unlike, for example, Bensendorps, which take like over 2 minutes to load if you don't upgrade them at all, which is rather annoying. Regardless, our team has been doing absolutely fuck for damage against the incoming fleet here, which is rather nasty. Friendly Akatsuki seems to be heading back, so I'm going to try to open up new angles instead, but it seems the Akatsuki does get caught by the Minsk. Now, I'm contemplating to just stop here, smoke, and shoot at the Minsk, but the Minsk is heading in the other direction, and these guys are all shooting the Akatsuki now, so that's really, really bad, because it means that if the Akatsuki is going to be spotted, there's a good chance that you know, these guys are going to start going full torpedo evasion, but at the moment the Akatsuki is shooting back at the Minsk, so therefore not actually really in a torpedo angle for the Tirpitz. He now is. I should have launched, you know, if anything, I should have launched these torpedoes earlier, because it would mean that there's a lower chance that the Tirpitz is going to go torpedo evasion. So, well, I mean, it seems he's going to take some, you know, regardless. I just hope that the Akatsuki was sufficiently smart about his torpedo drop that he actually compensated for the fact that this guy is going to make some kind of evasion maneuver to evade my torpedoes, and just looking at it, it seems like the Akatsuki did actually try to compensate for that, but it looks like a widespread, so those torpedoes, for the most part, are just going to end up going and fucking themselves. I mean, if they can detonate the Cleveland, that'd be kind of nice, but I don't think it's going to happen, and then Akatsuki has bled a lot of health, because, you know, sitting in the open against a bunch of battleships isn't really that good for your survivability, who could have thought. Regardless, I'm heading myself further to the south to try to get myself a reasonable cross-drop angle on this Tirpitz. My torpedoes are almost up. This Akatsuki's torpedoes should also soon be reloaded again, and that would mean that we can get a pretty nasty cross-torpedo drop on this Tirpitz. Anyways, looking back in the distance towards our team, it seems rather that our team isn't doing so well right now. Both their destroyers are still, much to my surprise, alive. So it's really just only been me here trying to farm fucking damage. Anyway, seeing that the Akatsuki has launched and didn't run on time and is probably gonna die, I realize that this Tirpitz is a smart intern, so I'm basically gonna launch on the path that he's gonna take to intern torpedoes, and there you go. It does take 2 torpedoes, so that's a lot of his health gone, and he's basically interned them despite killing him, so my torpedoes are now getting a reasonably nice angle on the target. Our Scharnhorst is trying to torpedo more, but seems like a good drop, and bam, down she goes. Very useful kill for us. That's a battleship gone, so I can kind of turn around and try to deal with the rest. We know there's still a Fiji, nice, and a Hipper, and another fucking Tirpitz coming along, and unfortunately the Cleveland's going to dodge all those torps. And up in the north, the Nürnberg is alive, Young no one ever caught, the Myoka's alive, so Minsk is still alive, and he's now invisible. So, yeah, we're actually in a really shitty situation. We're down heavily on material, we have no control of the map whatsoever. So right now, I kind of just need to get myself back into the cap to try to find, you know, the rest of the group that's coming up. I mean, we see the Fiji smoke in the area, and also, well, I'm just gonna head back towards the cap and try to sit in it as long as I can, really, because they're probably gonna attempt to capture this. Anyways, the Cleveland's coming along, the Scheisenau's coming along. I'm gonna make a rather tactical mistake here. Instead of just full dumping on the Cleveland and preventing him from getting, you know, anywhere, then I do expect him to make a starboard turn at this point. I do this weird compensation drop, if you want, like this weird compromise between trying to hit the nice now, who might turn to I'm expecting to turn to his left, port side, and the Cleveland, who I'm expecting to turn to his starboard side. I mean, the Cleveland is horribly angled right now, so I mean, if he wants to live, he should turn to the right so he can get better angled. So if he had done that, he would have taken a torpedo and died at that point, but didn't seem to be the case. Fucker is gonna spot me, so I'm just gonna, you know, just gonna contemplating to smoke up and shoot it. I was way too late. I should have done that earlier, but I do still place the smoke screen in a position where it can extend me back into the cap. So I'm gonna place it there and make him think I'm leaving. So I guess that does actually kind of pay off decently. Let's see, who's this guy spamming the chat? It's Leander, and he's actually trying, so I will give him that. You know, he's been trying to push push the pace on Charlie Cat. I do have a Hipper behind me, and I do know that I do notice on the map, so I can't really stick around here for too long. Unfortunately, I can't actually spot the Fiji. I'm requesting people to shoot the Hipper, but if they're not going to shoot the Hipper and they're not going to pressure him away from me, they basically have 5 seconds to do so, and the guy is trying to MLG me. He's really close, rather. So I can no longer fire my main battery safely. Hold on, I still can for a little bit more. I'm gonna launch one salvo of torpedoes on the Ignite, now figuring he's moving, and now without my engine boost, I actually move a little bit, well, by a little bit, I mean way too late. So I do actually get caught by the Hipper's Hydra, do end up putting one torpedo on the Ignite now, but I expected him to make a little bit different maneuvers around there, and this was just a horribly launched torpedo salvo, so that's bad from my end. But regardless, I got myself out of the Hipper's Hydro range, but my smoke screen is expiring and my engine boost is down, so I basically just need to press and hold W and continue advancing in a straight line and avoid turning as much as possible just to get myself out of the 6-2, because it's 6-2 and not 6-1 like I always have a tendency to think. Yeah, just to get myself out of the 6-2 detectability range. And there we go. I am now out of range. Did bleed a little bit of health, not too much. Could have been a lot worse. So, it's okay. The Ignite now went down, but now I have absolutely no means whatsoever to get back into the cap because people never shot the Hipper that I needed them to shoot. Because, you know, shooting the battleship is clearly a more important thing to do than actually trying to save the cap. That's just random players for you, especially the ones later at night. This is a health upgrade North Carolina, so I have a grand total of 0 hopes for this idiot. Stock health upgrade North Carolina, mind you. So yeah, no hopes for that guy whatsoever. I know the Hipper has Hydro up, but I don't really care. It's a torpedo launcher that I don't really feel I need elsewhere, and I need to get myself back towards the cap, so I might as well launch some pressure torps on the guy, just to see if I got pressure him a little bit. They do have a health upgrade Turpets, that's why he's so far behind in getting into the game. I mean, that Turpet's honestly playing like a boss for all intents and purposes. But regardless, they're still in our cap, and we still need to deal with it, and I'm still not in range to reset. So I know they're gonna get spotted here with the Turpets. They are kind of pushing through, but I know that the Fiji even is almost in firing range, and if I had top 0.8s here, I would have easily been able to reset from much farther away. Team finally nails the Hipper. I just need to reverse towards the Fiji right now and try to torp down the Turpets, and I do actually get a reset on the Fiji, which is critical because without that, it's a good chance we would have been struggling. So that's really, really good for us. And he now gets spotted, so I immediately called for people to shoot it, but it's now unfortunately out of my firing range, but the Turpets seems like he might be taking some of these torpedoes. I know there is a lol Jagger over there, but it's not really something I can deal with right now. I need to try to finish off the Turpets and finish off the crap that's over here before I can turn around to engage the lol Yang, because, you know, focus fire is always good. Getting rid of targets again is always good. And, you know, there's also the fact that he will spot me if I stick around. I do take a bit of a silly torpedo launch. I know he's used his heal already. He is on fire and he just bled a massive hit, so that was kind of a bit of a wasted torpedo launcher, but whatever. I'm going to advance somewhere else. My Hydra's coming up, but I bet you the Loyang has Hydro up himself because he's been, well, how can I put it, out of battle for sufficiently long that it's unlikely that he would be in a position where he would need his Hydro anywhere. But somehow he gets himself spotted before I get spotted. So that pretty much gives me a little bit of information that this guy probably doesn't actually have a, you know, good captain. Also knowing that he doesn't have survivability expert is quite nice and not being captured by the Miyoko across half the map. Going to take a torpedo launch against him, which is kind of bad for me because it means that I lost track of his position and was basically unable to continue getting further damage. Low HP Miyoko spotted. Let's see if our remaining team, I wouldn't call them one, except Leander, he's been doing a good job. But, you know, if these stupid battleships can actually shoot the correct target. I mean, look, our Bismarck is stuck in goddamn base. You know, stuck on the island in base. That's pretty amazing. There's North Carolina has survivability expert, so that guy is by default stupid. Regardless, none of those torpedoes hit the Liang, so he's probably either, you know, relocated out of the smoke, or he had Hydro up, the latter being the more likely, thing. Now I could engage the Minsk here, but it would get me spotted by the Loyang and leave me more health. Even though I have a massive health advantage against both Loyang and the Minsk, I don't want to take on all that shit plus the enemy base at the same time. And knowing that the Minsk is behind the island, however, I'm going to look for this Loyang's shots against our North Carolina and try to deal some more damage to him while I can, and the Minsk is behind the island, so they can't spot me. Do clip a hit on him, which is good for me. The more damage I can deal to him right now, the better it is. Unfortunately, that was shot a little bit too high, I believe, but again, I now need to get back into the cap and reset. So, gonna snapshot another torpedo launcher in that direction. Loyang does actually get himself spotted, so I don't want to bleed too much health at this point. I'm just gonna trade away from him because I know that he's leaving the smoke, and I know that on North Carolina, because he fired his guns, will be able to keep him spotted, so I'm going to plink away at his health with my horribly misplaced aim. The more damage I can deal to him, the better it is. And when North Carolina actually gets himself a good enough retard bonus shot to knock the Loyang out, which is definitely quite nice for me, because it means I can now advance forwards and get back towards the cap and spot targets and get the resets in. Do spot the Nürnberg, just going to immediately open fire on that, and turn to open fire on the Fiji as well. Fiji is kind of weirdly moving. 3 hits on the Nürnberg, so that's a full reset on him. Knowing that the Loyang is dead, I feel comfortable with the fact that I can trade this health right now. It is perfectly fine for me to lose a little bit of health here just to get the resets in, ensure that the resets go in, so I can't trust my team to do it. And then I'm just going to fall back into concealment and advance in cap. There you go. Back in concealment. I get set on fire, so I'm just instantly going to mash the R button to hopefully prevent them from getting a reload on me to, shoot me again. Fiji is doing this weird reverse going forwards maneuver, but he had his smoke screen up again, so I'm going to launch on that. I know which way his bow was facing, so it's reasonably clear for me just to launch like this. If the Fiji wanted to be cheeky, he could actually have, well, there's nothing to do other than look at low HP targets not being finished. And as I just creep away from the Nürnberg, he could have gone into the harbour here, and how North Carolina gets a lucky shot on the Nürnberg. He could have creeped himself inside of here and been rather difficult to sit to both Citadel and torpedo for me, and that's going to be important because here come more torpedoes, and you can see exactly where his traces are coming from. Bam, bam, he goes down. Because I knew he was broadside. I do spot the Nürnberg torpedoes coming in, wondering if the Fiji has decided to launch any, so I'm going to trigger my Hydro because I feel reasonably fine with my current position, knowing that it's just a Minsk and a Myoko left, and the Myoko could potentially also have sent some fish my way because 11 kilometers isn't that far. I mean, that basically seals the deal for this game. It was looking rather dicey at the beginning. 11 torpedo hits, so that's actually not too bad for me. 7 of them were hit during Damacons, I think, but, so, 4 floodings, meh. But, in the end, 133k damage isn't the world's best, but, it's a top tier game, and I did have some semi-unlucky torpedo salvos in the beginning against the Turpins that just didn't connect the way I wanted them to. I suppose, GG to the enemy Turpins for actually dodging them. I anticipated him to be a typical battleship player because he headed towards A and just to break away the moment someone shot in his general direction, but that didn't seem to be the case for the first Turpins. The second Turpins, definitely that was the case for. I mean, survivability expert, what do you expect? I don't have the post-battle results screens, so, I mean, you can pretty much see whatever it is in the top right corner of the map. Of the screen. That's pretty much really it. That's all I get. Yeah. Minsk shows up, so we're actually going to pick up the kill on that instead of having to chase that to the border of the map for another minute. So I guess that's a spot of luck. I'm gonna nail this kill, but thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this replay cast, and I'll see you guys in the next one.